you are anything like me, or just screaming "Viva Mexico!" then you've got a home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state and a nation and world, in this case, that we live in. Thanks for hanging out. While in my absence, I had several shows going on. I did the whole pre-record, load, and in all that business. And while y'all were entertained by outdoor awesomeness here on the Go Show, I was on a beach. Yeah, I was in Rocky Point, Puerto Peñasco for the cool kids, Mexico, in Las Conchas, and having the time of my life. I got to tell you, I have never been on a beach house before. I'm from Southern California. I've been to beach houses. I've just never stayed at a beach house before. And waking up in the morning and seeing nothing but waves and surf and fishing opportunities, there really ain't anything like it. There really is nothing anything like it. And I got to tell you, Mexico was an absolute new experience for me. Although I spent so much time down there in my childhood with my grandparents, we'd go down there and we would we'd go to yard sales for a week or two prior to get bikes and toys and all that stuff and take them down there to orphanages. And we'd have a lot of fun doing it. We'd have a vacation at the same time. It wasn't solely a mission for orphanages. It was for us to do a little something and have a little something, have a little fun time in Mexico. Spent so much time in different parts of Mexico, different towns. And one of the funniest things I remember as a kid going down to Mexico was that we went into a restaurant and they said today's special, and it was like $3,000. And I remember thinking to myself, we are the richest family on the planet. Holy mackerel. There's 6 of us here and we're $3,000 for the special. Yeah, I didn't know the whole peso dollar exchange rate. Had no idea. But I did learn that very quickly. 17 and a half dollars pesos to the dollar when we're down there. So let me tell you something. You can burn through some cash. You go to Mexico, you're going to burn through some cash. And you are going to. And in every way imaginable. I didn't expect the changes that I saw. And maybe these weren't changes. I just haven't been down there since I was a kid, aside of Tijuana in college. I really didn't know that this was either going on or that it had changed. And we're going to get to the outdoor portion of this, I assure you, because this is an outdoor radio show and streaming show. But the minute you get down there, there's people trying to squirt junk on your windshield and wash your windshield for money. Whether you like it or not. I mean, you can wave them off. No. There comes the squirt, and you're like, well, I'm in this now, so here's a couple bucks. And it's not a big deal. I'm not bashing on these people trying to earn a living. I get it. It's better than just holding your hand out and asking for dough. You're actually going to do something. You'll park your car. What's up, Lynn? You'll park your car. There's 2 questions you get asked. Do you want me to wash your car? No, because I just parked somewhere else down the road and they washed my car without me asking. So I don't need to have the car washed again. Do you want me to look after your car? Essentially, do you want this to be safe do you want all your stuff to be back here when you get back to your car? And I was absolutely blown away by that because of this negative garbage stereotype that we have about going to Mexico these days. Mexico's not in good shape. Mexico City's running out of water. If not, they've already run out of water. It is a bad situation in Mexico. And these people are beholden. They had this election. Understand this, y'all. You know me. It's nothing I love more than a solid IPA. There was no alcohol sales Saturday and Sunday. None. Restaurants couldn't sell it. Restaurants couldn't serve it. It was so underground that we went to little shops. We were like, come on here too. I got a shot in here. If you want to come in my shop, I'll give you a shot of tequila. Because they were having their elections going on. And their elections, they elected the first female president of Mexico, handpicked by Lopez Obrador. And so they had the elections going on, and everyone was participating. Yet never go to Mexico during elections. Jim, you're darn right. Tequila Jim, I'm telling you, we had to stock up on Friday. And by stocking up, I mean a bottle of tequila and if I have more, I can't drink more Modelo and Corona. I'm done. Like I wanted to come home and drink my weight in IPAs. I really did. So we get there, and it's that environment. These people are just struggling, and they're doing what they can to carve out a living. But they know they show up to vote. And I saw some really cool thing that there were thousands of people here in the United States that are Mexican citizens that had to show their ID and say, I want to vote, and they were here at the Mexican consulate. I thought that was pretty cool. But one of the funniest things I heard was from a fishing boat captain. And he said, he goes, the elections. He goes, I don't vote. He goes, we already know who's going to win. We already know who won. I'm like, okay. There's a lot of, I'm not going to get into politics here, but I was like, interesting. So it wasn't a surprise that Claudia Sheinbaum, I think her name is the new president of Mexico. She was the mayor of Mexico City, and they're out of water. What's up, Chris? So I'm like, who knows what's going to happen? Anyway, I went down to have a wonderful vacation with my girlfriend's family and my daughter. Intern Beans was there. We had a great time, an amazing time. But again, I was waking up looking out at surf. So you know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do. People make better decisions drunk. You're darn right, Lynn. Yeah. Well, why not? Let's drink, have some tequila, and vote, and just figure it out. Just what do they say? Your true person comes out, right? That you don't have the constraints of what other people might think. You're just like, you know what? I'm going to vote for that guy that just washed my window over there. He's going to make a great president. I'm going to vote for him. Didn't really matter anyway. But anyway, getting back to it, waking up. I am alive, Chris, but we had some shows while we're gone. We did FAFO Friday. We did all that stuff. Come on, man. We had some shows while I was out. But I'm telling you that when I woke up and I saw surf, it's time to go fishing. Just hell or high water, I'm going fishing. And speaking of high water, that's one of the things I had to learn. Thanks, Chris. I've never, ever in my life shore fished. Never done it. I think one time my grandfather, when we were down in Mexico, he threw a line out and there was a fish on it and he had me reel it in. But I have never, as an adult, gone shore fishing. And remember, I told you last week, mind your budget, try things out first in the outdoors. Then, if you're hooked, if you're in, then go for it. I'm going for it. I am an addict. I love ocean shore fishing. Holy mackerel, what a ride. What an absolute ride. And I got to tell you, I was all, thumbs, I guess they say, asses and elbows, whatever it is. But I was fumbling all over myself starting out in the first day. And the second day I kind of got it. It was funny. My girlfriend was right behind me. And that, by the way, that's Sabbath, who made an appearance on the show. He's barking at the door. My girlfriend is standing right behind me. I throw out my first cast of the morning. Pop, got a bonita, jumped right on it, and I thought, that's amazing. This is going to be the greatest day ever. And I caught like 5-6 fish after that. I had so much fun. Caught corbina. I caught spotted bass. I caught it all, and it was just too much fun. And I was like, I'm in. I'm hooked. And that was second day. So the third day, and I'm sorry about the barking back. The third day, I caught some fish, but then the surf was different. The tide was different. And then the fourth day, I almost got skunked. The tide was just absolutely I didn't even understand what was going on. It was just 100 yards out. Like, where'd the ocean go? So learning the process has been fun. Yeah, dogs doing dog stuff. I'm telling you, man. I mean, and that's he's at the door. Anywho, but I got to worry about tides. I thought it was pretty consistent. I thought tide comes in, tide goes out, tide comes in, tide goes out, same distance up, same distance back, and all of that was just the same. I thought all of that was good, and it was going to be. I have to let this guy in. Hang tight. Stand by, everybody. Well, we'll call that a first here on the Go Show. Yeah, I had to. Oh, hello, Sabbath. Are you going to come in here and say hi to everybody? Well, hello. Yes. Oh, Sabbath. Sabbath actually, fast forward, got Beans and I through the border relatively quickly. Yeah, there was a we stopped at the border, had to give our passports, got to give his papers, this and that, and then we were pulled over by border patrol to inspect the car. And I rolled down the back window and I'm like, say hi, his name's Sabbath. And they're like, oh, look at that doggy. And they're like, okay, guys, you go ahead. I could have had 200 pounds of cocaine in this minivan. It was a minivan. We'll talk about that later. But I could have had 200 pounds of coke in there. They saw the dog and they're like, oh, it's a doggy. Yeah. So good job. So I give him some credit barking at the door. Holy mackerel. He was out there chewing, just so we're fair here. He was out there chewing on a bison marrow bone. Like that usually takes him hours to get through. Apparently he's done with it, or it's too hot out there. He just didn't want to be out there, and he's just a diva. So anyway, he's back. There's that. Let's get back to this. I didn't understand the tidal impact that this has on fishing. I knew that the bigger fish were about 100, 150 yards offshore, pushing the smaller fish, which I was catching, towards the shore. And that's why they were freaked out and they do the reaction strikes and all of that. I had the right baits. I had the right, I had the right almost everything. But I just didn't get and understand that you have to really be cognizant of the tides going in and out if you want to be a successful angler from the shore of a beach. This has nothing to do with just Mexico or California or whatever it is. You need to know. And that was number one that I learned. Number two, plastics don't work. Period. I threw every size plastic bait you can, and I got strikes on every single one of those. But you know what I ended up with? I ended up with half baits. I ended up with fish, just baits that just were bit in half by fish. So I come up, I pull this thing up, and it was this long. Now it's this long, and it's just got a little hook at it. That's it. Yep. That's what I ended up with. Plastic baits do not work. So we're throwing that out there as lesson 2. Lesson 3. Be mindful of what you see online, because if you're watching somebody online post a video of them catching fish in Las Conchas, right where you are, it's edited. It's edited. Yes, Lynn, the moon impacts the tides. Absolutely. But you got to be cognizant of that report. You got to, okay, well, today is going to be this, tomorrow was that. And yeah. And so you got to be, and you also got to be conscious of, check this out. Yeah, this is what my hair looks like after a week of being out shore fishing. But you have to be aware of that. But when you're watching these videos on YouTube, these are edited. So this guy could have been out there for 5-6 days, this guy I was watching, and he caught 3 or 4 fish. It wasn't just one after the other, although it seemed very seamless. And he seemed very excited about the fish chasing the bait all the way up to him and striking it right before he actually pulled it up to a cast again. And that happened several times to me on this trip. But you see what he's throwing, and you're like, okay, I'm going to have the same results. No. Be ready. Be ready to change baits quickly. Be ready to change baits and try. I thought, because he said he was using a 12-pound line, I don't see a need for a 12-pound line. I don't. You're not pulling in yellowtail, sorry. You're not pulling in a giant corbina. You're pulling in maximum like 2-3 pound fish. And so if I'm throwing a 12-pound line, which I was told to throw, that seriously limits the distance I'm getting when I'm casting a 1/2 ounce or a 1 ounce spoon. And so I felt like I was kind of stymied by what I put on my 3 reels, because I was at 12 pound, 10, 12 pound, 10, 12 pound. Why? I don't need that. But they were saying, oh yeah. So one guy in this entire forum that I was watching YouTube video said, throw a 2 ounce, get a 2 ounce lure, hell or high water. You need to cast long. But everyone else is like 1 ounce cast masters, 1 ounce spoons, 1 ounce this, 1 ounce that. No. The one guy was right. I'm backing his play. 2 ounces, 1.5 ounces minimum, because you've got to get past garbage. You've got to get past a bunch of surf. You got to get past a bunch of rocks and you got to get out there to where the fish are. And where do you see the fish? You see the fish where the birds are diving in. That's where they're going to be. To get out there, you need lighter line that you're being told, and you need a heavier bait. So 8 pounds, ounce and a half, I think would have done wonders for me, because the last few days the surf was about 4 to 6 feet. And what are you going to do with that? When you cast into the waves, I was casting waves and getting my butt kicked. I was getting jacked up out there. Last thing I learned, so you need to know, if you go shore fishing in Mexico, any kind of shore fishing, wear some sort of water shoe. My feet are blanked up. It's bad. I mean, they're swollen. They've been cut up, bleeding, whole nine. Just it ain't worth it. Put some dang water shoes on and get out there. And if you're gonna fish, you don't worry about your little tan line. You're gonna be okay. It's a lot better than having swollen, you know what, feet like like I do. So definitely shoes. So know the tides, lighter line, because you're not reeling in whales. You're just not from the shore. You're not, unless you can get it way out there. Heavier baits, and wear some dang shoes, and you'll be fine. You're just gonna have a great time. It was fun. It was fun catching these corbina and the little spotted bass. I caught spotted bass that were probably 4 ounces, tiny. Like I was thinking about just hooking one and just tossing it out as bait. They were so small, but it was fun watching, because they actually, you see the surf come in. You'd see the surf come in and you'd watch your lure. So you always, when you're fishing, you always need to be cognizant where your lure is, where your bait is, and watch your lines. And I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I believe wholeheartedly in Native Eyewear. Native Eyewear has the best polarization in my mind. You can always see your line. I could always see my line. I could always see where the bait is, because I had that polarized sunglass on, and it was nice. Cool thing is that you would see the surf come in, then you'd see my lure, and then you would see fish following it, and they pop, they kind of like just kind of test it out and then peel off. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So let's see here. To be honest, I'd rather prepare. I'm down, but I was not going to. I was catch and release guy, because 2 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that were there don't like fish. So I was like, I'm just going to catch and release. I'm not going to take the time to prepare them, take time this and that. I'm just going to. I pinched all of the hooks, because I didn't want barbed. I didn't want to tear up lips. I knew I was going to catch and release, so I just wanted to pull them out, or just take my little splizzers and just grab them in there and pop. Buck Knives makes a fantastic product called the Splizzer. So they're scissors, but pliers. The plier ends to them, like needle nose ends to them, but they're a scissor. Fantastic. So much. I mean, it's so functional. So I had one tethered to my shorts in my pocket, and then I had a fish lip gripper tethered to my shorts in the other pocket, and I didn't need anything after that. But I did run through some baits. I got to tell you, I ran through some baits. Again, mind your budget, because I'm telling you that the snag factor on these rocks is something else. There'd be sometimes we go to low tide. The people I was with, they would find my girlfriend's dad found one, girlfriend's daughter found one, intern Beans found one. Just lures that were still hooked on the rocks when it went to low tide. And I was like, whoo, y'all saved me about $3-4 a piece right there. And but you're gonna run through some bait, and just be ready for that. I tried my best to put shrimp on a hook and just throw it out there and just see what happened. Let it sink, see what hit it. But the surf was so rough, it was like a washing machine. It was just tossing the thing basically right back to me. And so I didn't get to do that. But again, trying to figure it out is a lot of the fun. I equate side box smoker. If you guys understand what an offset smoker is, it's the grill that has the big drum, and then on the side, that's where you put your coals and your wood, and it smokes through it. That is a dance. That is an hours-long dance where you're just trying to figure things out. You're just trying to find the sweet spot. That, to me, is the same thing as fishing. You're just constantly something new. You're trying to learn trying to see what they like, trying to see what they don't like. And unfortunately, there's some things that I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to love this bait. Like we talked about last week, they're going to love this bait. But then it got snagged on a rock. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, and definitely if you're fishing with other people that maybe don't have the same angling experience that you do, set your expectations right. You're going to be behind them. You're going to be fixing snags. You're going to be fixing line. You're going to be changing baits. That's basically what you're going to be doing. You're going to be basically an offshore deckhand for the hours that they're out there and fishing with you. But there's nothing better in the world. You do not make them feel bad for getting snags. You do not make them feel bad for nesting up a line. You just let it go. Just hey, no big deal. Hey, listen to this. I hope you're having fun. Hope you're having fun. And if you want to throw a couple lines out there, snag one, and then hand the reel over there and say, reel it in. So, and that was one of the things that I did. I was my girlfriend. She wanted to try, and I cast out. Because I could whip these things. My fingers are just raw from throwing lines, which is beautiful, by the way. And I said, okay, now reel it in. And then she's like, oh, I got snagged. I'm like, you didn't get snagged. That's a fish. Go pull that thing in. And it was, I don't know if she got the spotted bass or the bonita, but it was cool. It was a great experience. And now she's going to want to go back and do it again. Because I got to tell you, your boy's hooked, guys. Your boy is hooked. I love me some Mexico. The girls were a little weirded out by the trucks with the mounted 50 cal on the top and the policia looking like SEAL Team 6 or the Federales looking like SEAL Team 6. But I wanted them to know they're there for our protection. They're not there to get us. They're there to protect us. So yeah, I'm down with Mexico. I'm excited that I went. I'm so thankful to the Spa family for really helping me out and inviting me, that's helping me out. Yeah. Oh, showing me the way. Pretty much is how that goes. I was excited to have them, to get to know them, and to have a lot of fun and fish. And I spent most of the night last night looking for offshore equipment, because that's another thing that I learned. So I took two cheapy Walmart reel rods and reels. I bought them. They're $24 on sale. Both of them were they were great. They did their function. But by the third day, it was already harder to reel those things in because the salt water is so destructive, damaging, deposits, it calcifies. It's tough it's salt water is brutal on equipment. But I was excited that even if they're still in the garage, but for the most part, I'm going to see if I can save them. If not, like I said, they were $24. Good. They served their function. But I was online looking at equipment, looking at ocean, saltwater rods and reels. Yes. Yeah. And Len, yes, you'll go with the fish eaters all day. I made some ceviche down there that, make you want to smack your mama. Telling you what, whoa, buddy, I can make some ceviche. Here was the thing with the ceviche. The whole crew thought I was like grumpy for the day, or like I wasn't, because I was cooking. If you all know me, serving, cooking is my love language. I will cook, and I will cook big. I don't know how to cook small. Sabbath, who you just heard, he just ate 2 pork chops that were just probably in the fridge for a while because I just cook too much. But I got 2 pounds of shrimp, bell peppers, jalapenos, onion. I got everything you needed for a great ceviche, lime, lemon, and I made a wonderful ceviche out there. I could just eat it with a spoon, and I did. It was amazing. And it wasn't because it was fresh. It was fresh this and that. It was just a good recipe. I used to work for a company about 20 years ago called Aramark. They do the uniform services, right? And one of the beautiful, beautiful women in Santa Ana, she was I think she was late 60s, early 70s, spoke so limited English. But I asked her, I said, do you know a good ceviche recipe? God bless her. She asked her friend, so she was writing things down right. And her friend wrote down on this little piece of note paper this recipe, and she handed it to me, and she gave me a big hug. And I'm like, it's made with love. I was so excited. Made it, knocked it out. Same thing. Boom. Go for it. Here's the key. If you're going to make ceviche, So just so you know, ceviche, oh, I don't eat raw fish. I don't eat raw fish. Here's what happens. Whether you're using whitefish, shrimp, or both, when you put the whitefish in the shrimp, you chop it up, you put it in the bowl, and then you put the lemon and lime on top of it. You cover it in the juice. The acid cooks, and I'm throwing my hands in air quotes when I say cooks because it doesn't really cook. It just changes the makeup of it so it is essentially cooked and very safe to eat. So that's what happens. So the shrimp goes from opaque to a pinkish orange. Is exactly when you know shrimp's done. If you guys know how to cook shrimp, and the whitefish goes to a very, very white, goes from opaque to super white, and it's beautiful and delicious, especially with everything. Here's the key, guys. I want to tell you a little secret. So you chop everything up, put it in there. Here's what I want you to do. Once you've had it in there for at least 3 hours, that's what the fish has to be in those juices for at least 3 hours. You pour out the juices. Then you put in your veggies and all the stuff that goes in there. Mix it up. Here's the deal. As much juice as you poured out, I want you to put clamato in there. Mm-hmm. Holy mackerel. I'm telling you, whole new world. Whole new world. You guys are going to like it. I promise. You guys are going to like it. I'm telling you that you pour the citrus out and you actually put a little splash of the clamato in there and mix it up. Done. I think if you put the onions and the veggies and stuff in your ceviche, I think it's a little, it becomes a little too citrusy. So the fish has the citrusy, and then the veggies are the veggies, and then the little clamato in there. Woo, man. Yes. I listen, Len, I believe in a better life through chemistry. And don't you dare think that I did not go to the pharmacia down there. There's pharmacies left and right, and they have actual decent prices on all that stuff. So look for a reputable one online. And a lot of those things are fronts. A lot of those things are fronts for the cartels. And they're just we went to a store that used to be a really cool store apparently, and it was seriously just a cartel front. Here's the thing: you walk in and there's like 12 things to choose from an entire store. You're like, huh. Okay. But as I mentioned, they were not selling alcohol on Saturday and Sunday. So Friday, we need to make sure we got a few 12 packs and we get us through the weekend and have some fun. Mm-hmm. I walked up with two 12 pack, a 12 pack and a 20 pack, like a case, right? I walk up to and they say $65 US. And I'm like, give me my money back. No. I'm like, what? No. And it was this big rigmarole about giving me my money back. But I'm like, no, I'm not paying $60 for this. No way in the world I'm paying $60 for this. No way. And understand, I think it was Tecate and in Dos Equis. And I'm like, I wouldn't pay $60 for that much craft beer. Yeah. So I was, no, we're not doing that. And I think I went to the grocery store, and I got all the stuff for ceviche, 2 12 packs, a 6-pack. And I think it was $60 total. No, yeah, it's like $55 total. I'm like, okay, that's better. Not a front. I'm not dealing with a front for the cartels. Holy mackerel. Yeah. But hey, look, bottom line is you go to Mexico, you understand, you know what you're going to get, and you just set your expectations right, and you're going to have a great time. You're going to actually have a great time. I am a huge fan now that I've seen the prices of going to resort anywhere, whether it's here in Arizona for a staycation, down in Mexico, San Diego, whatever it is, the price of that versus renting a beach house in Rocky Point for a week is staggeringly different. Like I'm beach house guy. I'm in because I can save up for that kind of stuff and it's so inexpensive. Yeah. Yes. So I am all about going down to Mexico, all about learning the shore fishing thing. I hope that I can bring the kayaks out there. The yellow submarines can make an appearance down there, and we can get out to some deeper waters and maybe some bigger fish. But I'm in. I'm all in. I'm on. I think I just went around and around and around when I said that I went online. I was looking for any fishing gear that's on sale. And summertime is tough. But I think in like November, December, I'm going to be able to pull in some pretty good deals on some shore fishing stuff that, or at least some rods and reels that I can use in that saltwater. That saltwater is rough, man. I tell you. Don't tell intern Nuge, but I used his Abu Garcia rod and reel, and it's ruined. Mm-hmm. But I thought I can make that. I might be able to save the reel. It's just really gummy right now with all the calcification and salt water. But I think I can save it. But I think I broke their rod. Yeah, it's okay. I bought it for him anyway. Here's the story about how I bought him that rod and reel. This is years and years ago. He's had it for a hot minute. I bought him that rod and reel because I took intern Beans out to Tempe Town Lake on the kayaks, and intern Beans didn't have a rod and reel setup. She had like a little Barbie pole, or I forget what's the Disney movie with the jazz and all that? Yeah, the Princess and the Frog. She had that kind of a little pole. So she was like, I want to use my brother's pole. I'm like, totally good. Yeah, use your brother's pole. And so we're out on the kayaks, and she's standing up. I have one of the most beautiful pictures of her standing up and fishing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Was stunning. The reflection is almost a mirror image. It's so cool. And she stand up. She said, "Hey, Dad, how many times am I going to have to cast before I catch it? Oh, I got a fish." And her knucklehead dad had the drag set tight because I was changing baits, and I didn't reset it to mid-level. The rod snapped. And intern Beans, oh no. She sits down in the kayak and starts hand lining it. Boom, 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 boom. I have a great picture of her pulling this like 3-pound bass up, hand lining it. So we had to go to Bass Pro on the way home, and then and get intern a new rod and reel. So I broke it in Mexico. Anyone know how I broke it, by the way? I want to be the cool guy and say, "Oh yeah, I broke it to a fish, big fish on. Yeah, it was a yellowtail. Yeah, probably about 40-pounder. Yeah, no, I broke it putting it in the car. I broke it. I pushed in and I had them all together, and I pushed in the rod snap. Yep, that's how I did it. ABC's and me, folks. I am. So I'll have to explain that to intern Nuge today. When after the show, we are heading out to Chandler to get his bison skull. His bison skull is ready from our pals at Blue Rooster, and in Slavo's Watusi skull is available as well. So we're going to go grab those. I'm going to have to explain to him that I broke his rod and reel. That's okay. While I was gone, he came to the house and grabbed a couple of my rods and reels. So I'll see if those are still in working order. Maybe we're just going to call it good. Maybe he broke one, I broke one, and we'll just call it good. Anyway, let's do this again tomorrow, shall we? 11 o'clock, let's do it live. Thanks for hanging out with me, Grizz and the gang. Appreciate you guys, Lynn. And let just keep chatting it up. We'll play along. We'll see you here tomorrow at 11 right here on the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of the state and nation and world that we live in. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thanks for hanging.